What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, it is the 26th day of August, and here we are sitting at about 1.18 cents with 4 hours and 44 minutes left in the day. Shout out to All American Crave for sending me this dope bucket hat and some other stuff. I'm going to leave a pinned comment, a link below in a pinned comment if you guys want to check out their clothing line. It's not a paid advertisement, not a paid sponsorship. I just think that they're good people who make a good product, good products, and they've got a fall line collection coming out. So I'm giving them a little shout out there, throwing some love. Shout out to Anthony. 1.2 cents right now, just below there, right? 4 hours, 44 minutes left in the day. 2.3% is the percentage that we're up so far. The daily RSI, I have to admit, I'm kind of liking it. I just wish that we would do something with it instead of just dancing around like this, but this is nice. It's better than being pointed downwards like this. Having some higher lows and higher highs is nice, but we need to actually move up and not move down, not dilly-dally too much, right? We want a fast reaction. OnyxCoin, whenever it finds its lows, it gets a fast reaction. Often, always, it has a very fast reaction off its lows. Here was the one exception, right? Other than that, every single other time, like in this thing's history, even in the downtrends, whenever you found relative lows, it was just a very fast reaction upwards. So that's why we got so excited with this move here. It was a very fast, kind of erratic move all the way up, and we just came all the way back down, which is kind of disappointing all in all. But on the bright side, again, on the way up, we had a good bit of volume. On the way down, there's really not that much volume at all. This was the biggest, or one of the bigger red days that we've seen in a while, and the amount of volume here was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic. 1.19 cents right now. Let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll get back to the long-term stuff. I'm not completely convinced that this is the low. I do want to say, and I've said this before, that OnyxCoin has no problem finding its low before Bitcoin. We've done that a couple of times, and Bitcoin can go lower, and OnyxCoin does not have to go lower. So if anybody watched my most recent Bitcoin video and they hear me saying that Bitcoin might still go lower, but I'm not calling for OnyxCoin to go lower. You know, don't write me one of those dumb comments that says you're calling for OnyxCoin to go higher or not find a lower low, but you're calling for Bitcoin to get a lower low. You're just so biased. It's like, no, I'm not biased. I just have an open mind, and I've seen it happen before. And I'm not saying that it can't go lower. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if this was the low. Okay, especially with the way that daily RSI was looking. I want to get the RSM on here. RSI, stochastics, MACD, RSM, right? MACD looks like it wants to come up and cross above the zero, but we're not there yet. You're building a lot of bullish momentum, and you still have a long ways to go. I'm not really optimistic. I think what we're going to do is we're going to find turbulence and then come back down. You'll probably get a higher low in your oscillators and then get a lower low in the price with that. So it's actually very possible that we do see a lower low. If not a lower low, then maybe some kind of higher low or like a double bottom look. But I would think we find resistance soon. And where are we going to find resistance? Maybe right here at this kind of area between 1.2 and 1.22 cents. Looking at this high to a low here. The 382 is right there, 1.21. I said 1.2 to 1.22, and the 382 is right there in the middle. So might be where we go and find some turbulence. Stochastics are overbought, which looks nice. The RSI is overall bearish right now, but we do look like we want to continue higher. So we'll see if we find resistance here at like the 60, 65 level like we have, in recent history. If we can get over bot, that would actually be a very strong signal. If we can get over bot on the RSI on the 1 hour time frame, I would imagine we do get above 1.22 cents. We might even be heading all the way up to 1.26 to 1.28 cents, which would be pretty great. If we can do that, then I think we validate this as a low. But if we find turbulence in this area here, which I think we will, between like 1.2, 1.23, 1.21, if we find turbulence there and then we come back down, the odds of us going a little bit lower, I think, are strong. If not, at least some kind of double bottom look could be what we see. 1.13 cents, yeah, very possible. Very possible to find support, right at that area, but we could go a little bit lower again. Looking at the 4 hour time frame here, if we take a low to a high. Yeah, man, look at that. I mean, if we find resistance here at this area, 76, 886, even if we go all the way up here to about 1.24 cents and reject hard, we likely would come back down. Maybe 1 cent psychological resistance or support at 1 cent could provide support, if not 1.1 cent at the lowest or at the least. Again, if we are to go below this, so I'm not completely convinced that we do go below there. I could just see it happening. If we do go below there, it wouldn't be anything too crazy. This, I would be certain, is the area that we finally do find support at. because as we move down, we are lacking in volume and we are decaying in volume as we move down. So this downward move can't persist. It just genuinely can't. We'll probably form some bullish divergence on the 4-hour and the stochastics and the MACD with that. Rejecting the zero is not a good look. Makes me think that we do have lower to go. The stochastics and the RSI overall are both bearish. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we went lower. But here we are moving up higher as I'm talking. So hopefully we prove that wrong. And again, I think the way to do that would be if you can get above. Oh, that's not the RSI. That's not the fib area that I was looking at. If you can get above 1.26 cents, that's 0.0126. If you can do that on a 4-hour closing basis or a higher time frame, then maybe I'm wrong and maybe we do move up higher. One thing's for certain, regardless of that, we get above 1.5 cents. It's like 1.47 cents actually. We get above that area, it's on. It's on. So if there are any doubts between here or there, whatever it might be, if you're thinking that we're going to go lower, we get above 1.4, it's 1.48 cents, my bad, on a 4-hour closing basis, not on a wicking basis, but on a closing basis. There's no doubt in my mind that we are going higher, and that if you didn't take it upon yourself to scoop up some more OnyxCoin at these levels, you're going to be left crying, man. I'm planning on buying more. I just got this. Let's just say my money's tied up at the moment and I'm waiting for it to get loosened up. And once it is loosened up, I'm going to go very, very hard into OnyxCoin. So hard, man. It's going to be ridiculously hard. And it's going to be fantastic, but only if OnyxCoin doesn't take off before then, right? Everything does look pretty bearish at the moment, but we're very close, if not at the low. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if that was the low, but I am still calling for lower prices, I suppose. Now that I've said that, we can move up. We are free to move higher. I'm just going to keep calling for lower prices every single day, no matter what. From a high to a low here, golden ratio got hit as resistance. Consolidating now, you're back to the 236. I mean, to be completely fair, based off the fibs, that's a good argument right there that this could be the low. You closed below it, and now if in the next 4 hours, 38 minutes, we can close here or higher, we're closing above the 236 the very next day. That's actually a pretty good signal. Typically, like if you close below a level and then you come back up like that, that's actually pretty good. Just like here, you closed above and you came back below, went down, right? Close above it, then close back below, you went down, right? Here you closed below it the next day, you went lower. Here you closed above it for a few days, but that was a fake out. I don't know. That's maybe not the best example, but just saying, typically like this kind of reaction can actually be pretty beneficial. We'll see. Daily time frame. I like the RSI. I don't mind the stochastics, but overall they are pretty bearish. And the MACD is bearish as well right now. We're actually just freshly building bearish momentum. So I would think that we have a little bit lower to go, but just a little bit. We're almost there, you guys. And again, we look at this from a low to high overall, the low back on April 7th to the high on April 11th. Our whole up move took like 4 days, 5 days, 4 days. We're right at the base of this range here. We are literally right at the base of this golden ratio range. And maybe that 786 right there at 1 cent, maybe that's where we go, maybe. But I really wouldn't expect that we go below that. In fact, I would genuinely be surprised if we went too much lower than this low here. A little bit lower, maybe. A little bit even outside that range is fine. Understand too, with this golden ratio zone, it's not like a strict policy. You can wick a little bit below the line, and that doesn't mean you go to the 786, okay? That's not what it means. The 236 is a bit more of a strict policy, I would say. So we could wick below this, and not as resistance, more as support. So that like if you're coming up and you find support at the 236, cool, you're going to move up. But if you wick below it like that, you're probably going to inevitably go down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying we could go a little bit lower than 1.12 cents and still be fine. That doesn't mean that we're condemned to 1 cent or even lower than that. But if all else fails, 1 cent will hold. The land of the rising sun will prevail, and we shall see the sun shine yet again on our smiling faces. When we do finally break above 1.5 cents, 1.48 cents, that's how we know it's on. At the end of the day, the ultimate level to break will be about 2 cents. You get above 2 cents, and that's not what I meant to do. You get above 2 cents and you're home free, right? We get above 2 cents for breaking out of this overall consolidation phase. When OnyxCoin breaks out, when it moves at a fantastic rate. I can't wait to see how this thing rallies. All the people who have been ready to sell, they've sold out. All the people who've wanted to accumulate, they've accumulated. And you best believe the people, if you've still held through this, right? The people who are holding right now, who bought throughout this whole range, who bought throughout this whole range, who bought before, like I did, if you haven't sold here, you're not going to sell as soon as we get to new relative highs. you're probably not going to sell even once we get to like the first target areas of 8 cents or more, right? And maybe some people take profits. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying you've got people with conviction holding this coin at this point. There's not many people who are paper handing this thing at this moment, right? Maybe with Bitcoin and the rest of the markets taking a little bit of a flash crash that can affect it in a negative light. But again, just because Bitcoin sees lower lows doesn't mean that OnyxCoin necessarily has to see lower lows. I haven't seen enough in the charts to completely convince myself that we even do see lower lows. I'm just prepared for it if it happens, right? The call is that we see lower lows, with that being said. But if I was to be proven wrong on that, I wouldn't be surprised, man. We could absolutely move up. And again, I think the target area to watch for is 1.5 cents, 1.48 cents. That will ultimately validate if we're at our low. But if you want something that's a little bit before that, I think, what was it, 1.26 cents, I think. 1.26 cents, let's say 1.27 cents on a daily closing basis would probably be enough to prove me wrong. Let's say 1.3, screw it, 1.3. Let's raise the bar a little bit. That way we don't get faked out. 1.3 on a daily closing basis, yeah. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like that. Again, if you want a dope hat like this one, you can check the link below. Again, it's not paid advertisement. It's not an affiliate link. It's just me giving a shout out to a good company with good people who make good stuff. You know, that's about it. So take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.